All right, away we go. This is a pre-draft, pre-NFL draft, post-game show podcast in your face. Yeah, that's right. We do NFL. What's up, Al?
I'm going to break that down for you, Jerry.
No, we're not.
Oh, tomorrow I have my Bradley Brew project.
Yes, I am 50-50 on that now.
Okay. Well, if people are hearing this and then no one have tickets, it's a ticketed event.
Yeah.
So it did sell out. You know, it's a small place. I think we sold 100 tickets.
Awesome.
Which is nice. But so I don't think you could just show up and get in because New Jersey's very particular with breweries. They get a lot of rules.
In terms of occupants?
Just everything.
Yeah.
Like, you want to do a raffle? It's, there's just a lot of rules around.
Even for a really?
Yeah, for like different things. Yeah, they just have a lot of rules.
There's actually I'm not going to say where, but there's a pretty good brewery for sale. I got to tell you, the price wasn't crazy.
Where's it at? What town?
Oh,
you don't want to say because you might buy it.
Well, first of all, I don't have the money to buy it, but I do have friends that have the money that would back it.
Okay.
It's intriguing, but I can't figure out why it's not more. Yeah, is right.
Yeah, that's
very
good
interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It also seems to me it would be fun. Like, that's the type of business, like, you think the coffee shop, I think a brewery would be a lot of fun.
It does. This couple, Jerry, that runs the Bradley Brew Project, they also have a place in Colts Neck.
Oh, okay.
A brewery there.
Nice.
Oak Farm or Oak something.
In Colts Neck all the time. Where the hell is that?
It's on that main...
34?
It's on 34, but I believe it is. But when you're driving, I think it's set back.
Interesting.
I believe it's there.
How do I not know it's there?
But they look like they're having a good old time.
I'm sure. You know why? Because you pick something and I don't want to be cliche. Well, do something you love. We're going to... Which is true. But in this case, like, that seems like a fun atmosphere to go to. I don't know. That just seems cool.
I do know that the guy, when he first started the brewery, the first one, the Bradley one, I do think he kept his full-time job. He had a full-time job.
To get it off the ground?
Yeah, and I think he did that for a while.
I believe it.
My guess is now that they got the second brewery, they're now
if you're doing it okay enough to open up a second one, I don't think you need your job at that point.
So I'm a little nervous, Jerry. Like, what? So I have these people coming.
Yeah.
It's a brewery. I'll be pouring beers.
Right. And then what happens?
Yeah, then what happens?
You talk.
I do what?
Talk.
Get on the mic and say stuff?
I mean, I think you're kind of like the host. I think you walk around like on a Saturday, which was smaller. We didn't sell tickets. I would say there were probably at one point 70 or 80 people in the bar.
All right.
Not all of them came because me and Chris were there, but there was a good amount of people that came to see us, which was very nice. And I tried to do my best of walking around and, talking to this couple for a couple of minutes, move on to the next couple.
Okay, I like that.
I kept going, and pouring beers and doing that too, and making a few drinks. But I just kind of wandered, and I was behind the bar, so I don't know what your setup will be. So at least for me, it wasn't like I got caught in between a couple and a bar stool situation. Like, I was behind the bar, so I was able to meander in circles basically, and it was perfect. I really felt I spent a lot of time with everybody.
All right, good. Yeah, because what I'm doing is I'm gathering things from the office that have been sitting in the office, and I'm gonna raffle these things.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great idea.
So I found some T-shirts.
Junk bomb.
No, that would be a good one though. That might be worth something, Jerry.
The problem is the junk bomb is basically solidified to a rock now.
Yeah, so you got to be careful. Yeah, but I guess I'll have a microphone there. I will maybe I'll do a little show trivia for an extra T-shirt or something.
That's
fun.
Good.
Take pictures, I guess, Jerry.
You will take pictures. My only advice to you, and you've done this before, but I was conscious of this the other day, was to try not to get caught talking for too long with like one or two people.
Yeah.
Because then if everyone's coming to see you and to donate and be a part of this, you don't want to shun people either.
I also have a hard time asking people for money, even if it's for charity.
Yeah, I don't for charity.
Like, not for like the people paid a ticket to get in. I kept it very reasonable. I think it was $20.
$20, I saw, yeah.
Yeah. But then like if I want to raise additional things, like I want like do I do a live auction of something? I don't know. But I always like panicked. I'll be like, do I have $20 for this?
No, I don't.
No, we don't.
All right, let's start with 10. I watch those shows. The storage lockers.
Maybe I do like a live auction on some things.
Yeah.
Like I had Boomer autograph I had Boomer and Gio autograph only because I saw this was a good idea by you. They autographed a softball jersey.
Oh, okay.
And then I have remember when the Mets came out with their city uniforms?
Yep.
and they sent one with Boomer's name on the back. Well, just like laid in the studio for. So I scooped that up.
That's great.
A Boomer signed that.
That's very cool.
But is that an auction item or is that just a giveaway?
That's a great. I don't know if I love the auction idea for exactly why you said it. I think the way I did it was I like the 50-50 thing. And now we only had two prizes, the money and the jersey. And it was a late ad by me. And I've learned a lot over the last few days of things we could have done, but it was our first time. I think if you've got a handful of things, I think it's more attractive to do a 50-50 type deal and then additional pulls for prizes. So you don't have one chance to win. There are 3 or 4 chances to win something. But that's just me. You can do an auction. Though the one I would do the auction for would be probably the Boomer and Geo signed jersey. I think that's cool. Maybe you do an auction for or whatever you think is the most valuable.
You're right. Maybe I do if I'm allowed. I'll have to check because again, the breweries get a lot of have a lot of rules. Like if I could do a 50-50. I liked what you did when you did a 50-50, then second prize is
the signed jersey.
The signed jersey.
Yeah.
But I would require for the 50-50, you are not allowed to donate the money back.
I like that. I do like that.
Because there's too much pressure when people
I agree.
I never do a 50-50 myself because you're pressured into giving the money back.
Yeah, I always look at them as 75-25s.
Yeah.
If you win, you're giving at least half back, if not all of it.
Yeah.
My dad was there on Saturday. And my brother went too. And my dad bought his 50-50s, as did my brother. And my brother tells him, he goes, hey, just so you know, if you win this, you're donating that money back. My dad goes, well, what's the point of the 50-50 then?
Exactly.
Because I just donated the money. My brother goes, you're giving it back. So they got into a fight. Ultimately, my dad was like, you're right. I'll give the money back. But I said to my brother, like, that's not the spirit of the 50-50.
Right.
It's very nice. And the guy, Jim that won it, did donate half back, which I thought was very nice. There's no reason to do that. But
right.
I get it. You know, I see both sides of it.
Yeah. But I feel like I'd be embarrassed if I didn't sell enough 50-50s and I'd be like, okay, the winner gets $75. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, ours was good. Ours was like 600.
What's funny too is they always like places that sell 50-50s.
Yeah.
They'd be like, okay, how much is a 50-50? 20 tickets for $20. Why do I need 20 tickets? Like everyone's buying 20 tickets. We all have the same.
I know. You get an arm's length for $35.
Yeah, but everyone's getting an arm's length.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's a million tickets in there.
So like even if I sold a 50-50 ticket, $20 a ticket, and just was one ticket,
right?
You're still the same odds.
Correct. If 18 people bought one ticket, it's 1 in 18.
Yes.
And if 18 people bought an arm's length and they were all the same amount of tickets, it's 1 in 18.
So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do a 50-50. I had some other ideas I wrote down. Can I run and get my phone, Jerry?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have them in there.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'm saying I'm 50-50 because my son has a baseball game now Friday, and things have come up, and I am not sure that I'm going to be able to get down there, but I'm also not sure that I'm not going to be able to get down there.
I'm going to keep promising your appearance so that people
Who are you promising it to?
The people when they're there. Please don't leave. Jerry's coming.
They might leave faster.
All right, here's what I wrote down. I talked to Grok, my personal assistant, Grok. I told Grok what I was doing. And then Grok said, remember to remind people why you're there to help raise money for the foundation.
Yeah, people know why you're there.
Okay. It said Boomer and Geo trivia.
Yeah.
Q&A with me.
Okay. I always think that's, I always say if me and you ever did a live thing in Red Bank, that's one 15-minute segment that's, I think, fun for the people that would come
Q&A.
Talk to us. Yeah.
So this is I'm in a bit of an odd pickle. Tell me what you think I should do. So Gina has a friend who fancies herself a puppeteer.
Okay.
I don't know
Is
why.
She good at it?
I've never seen her puppeteering, but she fancies herself a puppeteer. She's not a professional puppeteer.
Right.
So jokingly the other day, I said to Gina, I go, your friend can come. I go, I do have that Boomer Muppet. She can do a Muppet show.
No, you were joking.
I was joking.
Okay.
She tells me the other day, she goes, Jen's coming, so you should probably write up a skit with that puppet.
Oh, God.
I go, what?
Oh, boy.
She goes, yeah, she was doing the puppet show. What do I do now? I do have the Boomer Muppet. Do I write a skit?
I think you have to.
Jerry, do you know what that's going to look like? Me looking out at this audience? She's going to be hiding under a desk working the puppet. My face has got to be out there.
And the skit should be you talking to Boomer Puppet.
The Boomer Muppet, yeah.
Yes.
What do I ask it?
I have no idea.
Oh, man.
This is you backing yourself into a corner, you jackass.
I do think people would like to take a picture with the Boomer Muppet.
Okay.
Right? That would be fun.
Sure. Yes.
Probably. I tried to get a Geo Muppet made, but they don't, FAO Schwartz, when I got the Boomer and Carton Muppets made, they don't do that anymore.
You couldn't get the one from Craig and just tape some black hair to it?
No, because it really looks like Craig's head. It could pass as me, or I could do a Sal Muppet.
Oh, my God.
Oh, the Sal Muppet's
well, you
here.
got some work to do before Friday. Oh, tomorrow. Oh, my God.
I could take the Craig Muppet, turn it into a Sal Muppet, and just yell at people in the brewery.
I guess you could do that.
The professional.
My God. That's funny. Yeah, you got some work to do before tomorrow afternoon.
Yep. Oh, we're going to be selling Al's Boring Beer t-shirts.
Nice.
We have some of those.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess. And the Boomer Foundation sent over some shirts.
To give away or sell?
Yeah, to give away.
Nice.
To give away. I also found, this is somewhat embarrassing. You know, sometimes people send things into the office, and Boomer and Gio are on vacation. Yeah. Something happens. I'm like, we'll deal with that when so-and-so gets back. Sure. And then it goes away, and it just stays away.
Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind.
Somebody made Boomer and Gio t-shirts like 3 years ago.
Oh, gosh.
And I found a box of them under my desk.
Really?
So I'm going to give those away.
Are they nice?
Yeah, they're the actual official logo. Just somebody made them.
You sure didn't come from CBS? I feel like I have one of those.
No, CBS made them years ago just for us.
Okay.
It's just somebody made a bunch of shirts.
Wow. And you never thanked them? They never thanked them?
No.
Well, in fairness, you're not alone, because I found a box of cornhole bags.
Yeah.
That someone sent me 2 years ago. I just found it last week.
Yeah.
And opened it. I'm like, oh, that's very nice of them. I'm like, oh my God. When I look on you can see the postage date. It was 2023.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, shoot. Now I look like I really do try to thank people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I send emails, and, I might miss one or two here and there. I definitely missed that one, but not because of anything. There was no bad intent. I just didn't see it until like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
My bad.
I know that we do get a lot of things here.
Yeah, which is very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
But it also, when you forget or don't see it, and our mail system here stinks.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah, not great. Because, for me, so I have a desk. I'm a part of an office with Eddie in there, and we just shove everything right underneath.
That's what I do.
I just shove things underneath.
I know.
I got a whole Keurig under there that's never been opened.
That was not really.
Yeah, because I've been waiting for the one that we were using to break down. But then Duncan came a couple years ago, put in a whole system for us, so no one's using the Keurigs.
Interesting. You know what's funny about that? I like the coffee here. I should bring in some pods and actually use that, because sometimes I don't feel like walking all the way to the commissary, and it's just easier.
Right.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
We got a whole the Keurig system's not even going to be a system by the time I
know.
I put that one out.
No, they'll have something else at that point.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I was remembering today, Jerry, we talked about, I don't know if you were in there when we were talking about when we used to travel for the Monday Night Football games.
I was not.
Well, it was me, Boomer, and Craig.
Yep.
We would go. We'd fly after the show on Monday.
Yep.
Fly to the city. Boomer would do the game. Tuesday morning, we would do the show from a radio station in that city and then leave.
Yep.
And I used to get very ill because the stress of it would give me a headache. The headache would turn my stomach. Now I wouldn't care.
That really bothered you.
It bothered me because I was thinking, like, back then, none of the radio stations had Wi-Fi. So to get a computer connection was
tough.
Very tough.
Yeah.
When you would try, you had a contact number and everything. I'm getting there at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I know.
And the phone rings, no one answers.
I know.
Can't find the radio station. The building is locked.
Yep.
It used to
so when I travel with Rutgers, and I've done this a few times, the score in Chicago, I mean, aces, those guys.
Yeah.
Mitch out there takes care of me. When I say I'm going to be there they'll be there at 3, because 3 is 4 out there. There was always someone waiting for me. But in Minnesota, while the guy did get to me, and they were great, I mean, they really were very nice. When I first got to the door, I couldn't get in. Meantime, it's 27 degrees out. I'm panicked now because if I don't get in soon, like I got work to do. And it was only 5 minutes. But you don't know if within that 5 minutes, it's going to be 5 minutes or 55 minutes. Same thing, texting, no reply. I don't even see that it's red. So the guy's sleeping. Is he up there? So I totally understand. I know what you mean. A lot of anxiety.
Oh, it used to freak me out. And then when we would go in, it would always be like at a place like this place. We have multiple radio stations in here. So then we were always on a very tight schedule. We would do the show 6 to 10, 10 o'clock, boom, out the door, blah, blah. And shows used to come by and go, hey, can we get Boomer for 5 minutes after 10 minutes after the show?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we've got a flight to catch. And then you feel like a douche.
Yep. Because Boomer probably wouldn't mind 5 minutes.
Right.
I know.
It just used to freak me out. Then I was also remembering how when I got the job and Boomer and Carton were starting, I was buying a condo.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I thought this is funny, just thinking how many years. In my head, I thought, they got to give this show at least 3 years. So even in 3 years, I could probably sell a condo
and
for a profit.
Right.
Or at least what I paid for.
So you thought in 2007, if we could just get to 2010.
You can get me to 2010 with Boomer and Carton, I'll be in good shape. I'll just sell this place.
And here you are in 2025, 3 homes later.
3 homes later, Jerry. Mattawan. Right?
Yeah. Well, because you were buying that place.
Yes.
Then Mattawan, then Bradley Beach.
Right. When I started this job, I was living in a condo in Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just always assumed you were in Basking Ridge. So that's interesting. So you were in Woodbridge.
Yeah.
Then you wound up going to Basking Ridge when you got the job.
Yes.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Time flies, man.
What's funny too, though, today, if a new show were starting, I wouldn't assume they'd give it 3 years.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I don't assume anything anymore. This business is rapidly changing on us.
Yeah. I don't know why I assumed 3 years, all those years ago that I was like, oh, they'll give this.
The only reason I would have probably thought the same was that unless it was a colossal failure, you knew it was going to be or thought it was going to be a little bit of a tough start because post Imus and how many listeners we lost that summer from all the tryouts. And then you got to give it at least some time to get their feet on the ground. But that said, they came out pretty good pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it worked out. How
do you think sports radio will change in the future?
I don't know. I honestly don't know because I still listen to it.
Yeah, I think, and I believe if you look at city to city, the radio stations that do well are the sports stations. So I think while radio as a whole might be down, I do think that the sports radio stations around the country do pretty well.
I think sports fan content, whether that's a sports radio station, whether that are podcasts, YouTube shows, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to call it sports fan content, is growing in leaps and bounds. If you ask me what sports radio will look like, I think sports radio is going to look more in line with what you think, with much smaller salaries, shorter shows, and a lot of different voices and a lot of digital content. And this is almost a means to an end.
Yeah, because I wonder sometimes like where the next group of guys will come from, right? As
in
far
terms
as
of like stars?
Yeah, hosts that will, younger hosts that would do 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, looking for 20 hours, where if they're coming up through the podcast ranks, which are shorter shows, fewer times,
25 minutes a day.
Yeah.
In some cases.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a great question. I think you're going to see more and more live programming on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Who knows if we're on TV next year or if we're on YouTube, if we remain on TV. I mean, that's another thing that's become very popular. Sports shows on television, Evan and Tiki on SNY.
Yeah.
I think Lebitzard's on TV in South Florida, I believe.
I think so.
So that's become a thing too around the country. But with YouTube becoming so prevalent in every home now on TV, I think that might be the future of this business.
Yeah, they say that that's the most popular app on your television.
I believe it. I totally believe it. It is in my house.
It's funny because for the longest time, I would only watch YouTube on my iPad or I was like, what am I going to watch? These aren't shows. Like I was used to sitting down to watch a 30-minute or 1 hour program.
No, they're shows now.
Yeah,
they are shows. I mean, they are. I found a very cool YouTube site called, what is it called? It's something about airplanes. And what it is I don't know why this popped up. I have no idea, but I watched the first one and it was very cool. And it's inside the cockpit getting ready to take off. This specific episode I watched was a flight that was going from San Francisco to Dublin. And the co-pilot, her name was Fiona. Clearly, from you heard her accent, she was from Ireland. She went over all the to show you all the checks they go over and all the buttons and all the this and that. And they got you taxiing. You see the takeoff. You see the pilot talking to the. It was. I don't know that I could watch a lot of them, but this one in particular was really cool. 35 minutes. I felt like I watched a show.
Yeah. And what's funny is when you put that on a decent sized television screen.
Yeah, it's cool.
How clear the videos.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, even stuff like I put like some of my sons, not necessarily for the public, more so it's where I like to store stuff now. Like all my sons, like sports videos or stuff that I've made for him, I'll post on YouTube. It's cool on the phone. I put it on a 65-inch screen TV. The clarity is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that my answer would be YouTube and different apps that might come up. The bigger question I would have for you is what's the next big thing?
Yeah, the next big app. Or
what's the next big media app? Because I feel like we're in a little bit of a lull here.
We are.
You've had the Twitter, you've had the Facebook, the Twitter and Instagram, then the TikTok. I feel like that's kind of slowed. I'm Snapchat, I guess, although I don't know anything about that. Nothing really since. YouTube exploded and is still the main thing in terms of viewing material online. What's next?
Good question.
It's, you know, right now someone's designing something or developing something.
And when it first comes out, I'm going to be like, I'm not going on schmook face tube.
Right. And you'll be the one like me. The ones that get in first will be the ones that do well.
Yeah.
Now, something's been tried, like the Blue Sky or something?
Blue Sky, yeah.
That's gone nowhere.
Gone nowhere.
Instagram tried their own thing.
Yeah.
That went nowhere.
Right. Threads,
right. That went nowhere.
Even the Trump thing, he's on Truth Social.
I don't even know what that, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Rumble. I mean, and all these platforms have a handful of people.
Oh, yeah.
That are very popular on it, but it isn't widespread that everybody knows it.
Right. And it's interesting because Twitter's not really widespread, but everyone knows what that is.
Yeah.
And yet, what is it? 8% of the people in this country are on it. Think about that number.
Yeah, very tiny.
It is 1/10 of the population. Small. And we sit there and get upset because someone on Twitter says something.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant.
It is.
So I don't know.
All right, Jerry, let's do the warm-up show. I got to prepare for this Big Bradley appearance tomorrow.
You do?
Clearly.
You got homework, my man.
Got a whole Muppet show I've got to write up. We'll see you back tomorrow on a Friday. We'll know who was drafted where and how the Knicks did, Jerry. It's going to be, what an exciting Friday, Jerry. If you love sports like I do, Friday's your show. So